let's put her in there. And another thing too, it's just I'll set this up and we'll put her in there and be done with it. But I will position one ring to that side over there, one ring to this side over here, the gap I'm talking about, and then one ring down there to the bottom. So you know, I'll stagger the rings, and we'll put it. Let's put it in there. I am going to another thing too that works for me really good, because I'm not, like I say, I'm not going to be powering anything with this engine. So I want these rings, when I start this engine up, I want these rings to wear really fast for the first 5 minutes. I want some wear on these rings, and then I don't want them to wear anymore. So I'm only going to use a 30 weight non-detergent oil for assembly. I have found out through the years, if you use these newfangled assembly lubes, that with the cast iron housings and these cast iron pistons and cast iron rings. Now remember, this is a slow RPM engine, runs on the cold side, so the materials, the lubricants and everything for these engines here is not to be compared with today's engines, with today's metals and the high speed and the high temperatures and specs on them. These are not to be confused with today's specs. With that said, what I found out is these new assembly lubes embeds in the cast iron, especially rings, new ones, and even the cylinders. It's cast iron being porous as it is, and the older grade I feel was it was a good grade cylinder. I'm not saying anything about that, but the new assembly lubes will embed in that cast iron, and it won't never seat the rings. I mean, them rings will never seat with some of these assembly lubes we got now, under the conditions that the engine will be running. So taking all that in consideration, this whole engine will be only assembled with 30 weight non-detergent oil, and I will use some Lucas grease where need be. And we'll talk about that. There is places that you do not use grease on an oil lubricated engine. So let's get this piston in there. Okay, let's put a little grease on that crank gear and cam gear before we put this up in there. Be easier to get to.